Hey there, world traveler. Welcome to my humble corner of the internet. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button before it runs away and share this video with your friends, family, or anyone who owes you a coffee. It helps me a ton. Also, drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. I'm making a secret fan map. Don't worry, it's totally not evil. Let's dive in. When Clara and I announced our engagement, people around us were quick to declare that we were the picture of romance, like something straight out of a lifestyle feature. She was a magnetic, eye-catching digital creator whose YouTube channel was starting to gain serious traction. I was the opposite in many ways. Quiet, steady, working in cybersecurity, more about consistency than flash. We'd met 3 years earlier through friends, and after dating for about 2.5 years, I proposed. She got teary-eyed instantly, saying yes before I even got the whole question out. Clara had always imagined a wedding that looked like it had been pulled straight from a Pinterest inspiration board, and I was more than willing to make that happen. My savings could comfortably cover the costs, and I wanted her to have the celebration she'd dreamed of. We chose the following spring for the big day. No invitations had gone out yet, but the deposits were paid and plans were in motion. Meanwhile, her channel was steadily growing. Clara's videos revolved around lifestyle topics, relationship advice, and couple-focused content. I generally stayed off camera unless she specifically asked me to appear. Those moments always left me feeling like we were acting out a role. She said it made the whole thing feel more believable to her viewers. When people see us together, they buy into it, she told me once. So, is this about your brand or about us? I'd asked her. She just smiled and said, both, babe. Looking back, I should have sat with that answer longer. By then, she'd hit 80,000 subscribers and was beginning to receive sponsorship offers. Her manager, Amelia, suggested launching a paid membership tier for exclusive content, behind-the-scenes material, and maybe a podcast down the line. Clara was over the moon about the idea. I was proud of her success, though I couldn't ignore the way her vocabulary shifted. Audience engagement this, monetizing our story that. It started to feel like she wasn't just living her dream, but packaging it, selling it, and turning us into part of the product. One Thursday, I came home earlier than usual. Passing the office on my way to grab my laptop charger, I heard her voice through the door. She didn't know I was back yet, and what I caught stopped me cold. So, you all keep asking about the wedding, she was saying with a light laugh. Everything's on track. I just have to keep this fool happy until next summer. Then boom, half. There was a short pause, followed by Amelia's laugh. Clara went on. No prenup, no idea what's coming. And his company? They're about to go public. He mentioned stock options once, but I pretended it didn't register. I froze mid-step. It's all about keeping up appearances for now, she continued. Smile, play the role of the perfect fiancé. Once we're married, I'm legally in the clear. I checked. Here, I get half of whatever's earned during the marriage. Salary, bonuses, stock growth, it's all fair game. Amelia laughed again. You're a genius. He's totally in the dark, Amelia said. Completely, Clara replied. Peter's the kind of guy who thinks love is enough. He equates love with blind trust, so no questions, no prenup, no boundaries, just open access to everything. The sting of those words hit harder than I thought they would. Don't get me wrong, she added. I don't hate him. He's nice. Smart, too. Just easy to read. Predictable, a little dull. But it's fine. A couple of stable years and I'll be set. Amelia's voice came back with, Girl, you're playing chess and he's stuck on checkers. I stood there in the hallway, charger in hand, trying to process. This wasn't a skit. There was no exaggeration in her tone, just calm, calculated honesty. I suspected she was streaming live, probably to that exclusive group Amelia had pushed for. I didn't confront her, didn't even walk in. I went to my own office, closed the door, and pulled up YouTube. Sure enough, she was still streaming. She hadn't said my name, but there was no doubt I was the fool. The chat was scrolling nonstop. Many treated it like comedy, boss moves and get that bag, queen. A handful were uneasy. Is this serious? And does he know you're saying this? That's when I typed, wedding's off, Clara. I hit send. At first, she didn't react, still smiling and scanning the comments. Then her expression shifted, her eyes narrowed, the smile faltered. She froze mid-sentence. "Wait," she said, uncertainty creeping into her voice. "Peter." Then, more quietly, "I think." He saw the stream. The comments exploded. "OMG, is this real? Is that your fiancé? No way." She started stumbling over her words. "Guys, this was just, a joke. For content. We exaggerate for views, you get it." I closed the browser. Less than half a minute later, the stream ended. I heard the scrape of her chair and then, after about 10 minutes, footsteps in the hallway. The office door swung open. "Peter," she said out of breath. It had been nothing more than a brief clip, an inconsequential live stream, the kind you'd normally scroll past without a thought, one I wasn't supposed to see. "No, you weren't," I said, standing from my chair. "But I did." Her hand brushed my sleeve as she stepped closer. "Please, don't do anything yet. Let me explain." "You already did," I replied. "Live, for everyone to hear." Her fingers withdrew, falling to her side. The room settled into a silence so thick it felt like it was holding its breath. I didn't need to ask questions. She'd already provided every answer. Clara moved around me, perching on the edge of my desk like it was hers to claim. "Peter, you know I care," she started, "but the internet feeds on chaos. Controversy drives traffic. I was just leaning into the role." I turned my monitor toward her. The frozen frame stared back, her mid-sentence grinning, saying, "Can't wait to marry this idiot and take half." "I made a copy," I said. The color drained from her cheeks. "You saved it?" "Several, actually," I replied. "A decade in tech teaches you redundancy." She didn't speak. "I've already called Marcus," I continued. "He's preparing the cancellation forms. The wedding's off." Her eyes widened as she rose. "You're ending 3 years over one careless stream?" "That wasn't an accident," I said evenly. "It was intentional. You didn't expect me to hear it. You were comfortable telling strangers exactly what you planned." She shook her head slowly. "I never meant to hurt you." "No," I said. "You meant to gain from me, not the same thing." She stepped closer, voice softening. "I can fix this. I'll say it was scripted. A joke. I'll take the video down, post an apology. Just give me a little time." "You can't undo what I heard," I said. "And it wasn't only the words. You laughed. You confirmed it with your manager. That was the moment it broke, Clara. And you broke it." The silence that followed felt like a closing door. "I'll be calling the venue in the morning," I told her. "We're done." I walked past her. She didn't follow. By sunrise, her apology video was already online. Title, "Let's talk about last night. I owe you an explanation." She sat on our couch, hair unstyled, makeup light, drowning in an oversized hoodie, the curated image of stripped-down sincerity. She claimed it had all been exaggerated for engagement, a parody of toxic dating culture. My name never appeared, but the audience didn't need it spelled out. The comments were ruthless. "That wasn't satire, that was a business plan." Your face when he answered said it all. Just admit you got caught. By midday, she disabled the comments. By night, the video was gone. But erasing it didn't matter. Someone had already clipped the original stream. Someone always does. A TikTok remix appeared. She's marrying him for the bag, no prenup, 500,000 views in 2 days. I stayed silent, letting my absence speak louder than any post. Clara began to unravel. "Peter, please," she begged that night. "They're twisting it. If you don't say something, everyone will think I'm some greedy opportunist." "You told them yourself," I said. "They're just quoting you." She looked exhausted, not from guilt, but from the fallout. "I've already lost 2 sponsors. My numbers are tanking." "Actions have consequences," I said, my tone level. "You're cold," she snapped. "No," I said. "I'm clear. Something you stopped being a long time ago." The next day, Amelia called her, voice clipped, professional. "We're ending your contract. You went off script. You wrecked the brand we've been building for 2 years. No one wants to work with someone who treats their fiancé like a mark." I watched her influence shrink hour by hour. No matter how she spun the story, it slipped further from her control. By week's end, she was back to safe posts, recipes, workout tips, skincare routines. But the comments clung to her like smoke. Where's Peter? Still planning to take half? Queen of fake love. Every post brought another reminder. On Friday, HR summoned me for a closed-door meeting. The tone was courteous, but the formality made it clear. It wasn't small talk. Someone had sent them a podcast segment where Clara casually dropped details I'd shared in private. My stock options, whispers of an IPO at my company. Not classified information, but not for public consumption either. It was clear I hadn't broken any rules or shared documents. But the optics were bad. HR knew it. So did my manager. Before I left, I'd signed a revised confidentiality agreement. Officially, it was standard procedure. Unofficially, the warning couldn't have been louder. By the time I stepped through the front door, Clara was in the living room, her laptop open on the coffee table. She paced restlessly, clutching her phone like it might save her. The panic on her face was no performance. It had finally sunk in. "I'm getting blacklisted," she blurted before I even set my bag down. "The whole women's entrepreneur network just unfollowed me. One of the bridal companies dropped our deal. They're saying I don't fit their brand values anymore." "You don't," I replied. Her head snapped toward me, eyes bright with anger. "You think this is funny?" "No," I answered calmly. "I think it's the truth." Her voice sharpened. "You're not even trying to help. You're just standing there watching me go under." "I already did help," I said. "I trusted you. I supported your career. I agreed to marry you without a prenup." She froze mid-step, like she'd been hit. Then she sat heavily on the couch, her tone dropping to a whisper. "I didn't think you'd really call it off." "You called me a fool," I reminded her. "What exactly did you think I'd do?" She didn't answer. The thing about going viral is it doesn't stop at one clip. It spreads. Small cracks become canyons. Followers vanish. Brands treat you like you're radioactive. And once it's out there, you can't take it back. By the second week, the wedding was off. I canceled the venue, the caterer, and the photographer. We lost some deposits, but compared to what I was saving, it felt like cutting loose a weight. One night that week, she appeared in my office doorway. "I spoke to a lawyer," she said quietly. "We could still sign a prenup, if that's what you want." I didn't look up from my screen. "Clara, the prenup isn't the problem." "Then what is?" "You wanted leverage," I told her. "I wanted a partner. You treated marriage like a transaction, a payout. And the second you thought I wasn't watching, you announced it to the world." "I was just entertaining the crowd," she said. "I didn't mean it seriously." "It was serious enough for you to plan it, to research the laws, to joke about it online." She stepped closer. "I've changed." "No," I said. "You've just been exposed." The silence after that was thick. She didn't know what to say next. Eventually, she turned and walked away. By week 3, she had packed her things and left. I carried a couple of boxes to her car. That was the last time we spoke face to face. I used the remaining wedding savings as a down payment on a lake cabin an hour from the city. No close neighbors, no constant noise, just space, quiet air, and a decent enough connection to work from. A month ago, I started seeing someone new. Her name is Daria. She works in risk analysis. Over dinner, I told her about Clara. She didn't laugh or grimace. She just said, "Sounds like she overplayed her hand." Exactly. Clara thought she was playing a clever game, broadcasting her plan to an audience that would applaud. But the only person she truly revealed it to was me. People ask if I regret it. I don't. Maybe I wish I'd noticed the signs sooner, the small digs, the calculated decisions, the way she measured people by their usefulness rather than any genuine connection. But the ending? No regrets at all. She assumed I was the easy mark, the man without a prenup, the man too trusting, the man blind to the game until the last move. But fools live inside the illusion. I stepped out of it, and I walked away. Once, she even went live saying she couldn't wait to marry me and take half. I left a single comment. That was enough to close the story for good. Now my life is quieter. My friendships are stronger. My judgment is sharper. I have a better woman beside me. I still believe in love, but I believe just as strongly in boundaries, in self-respect, and in recognizing someone's real nature the first time they reveal it. The internet might not forget, but I have. Some lessons drain your bank account. Others just create a lot of noise. Hers did both. Mine was simple. There's nothing to divide when the other half has already left.